Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team, Eyewitness News at 10 starts now.
Chemtool plant employees are left with a list of questions after the company shares a version of what they could be expected to be paid while they're left without a work site. Employees share what they want to know. Plus, the BBB warns renters to not fall for eviction assistance scams. There's many ways criminals will work to make residents fall for the crime. We'll tell you the one thing you should pay attention to so you don't become a victim. And in a rare Sunday address, President Joe Biden says the deadline of Afghanistan evacuations could be extended. The date and how this could help keep American citizens and Afghan allies safe. Good evening, I'm Alexis Carpello. It's been nearly 3 months since the Rockford chemical plant fire. Now issues surrounding severance pay has some Chemtool employees coming forward. Rachel Perry spoke with a few employees today. They tell her they feel cheated.
We just want whatever is owed to us. We don't want anything else.
Jose Torres, a Chemtool employee, says he's not getting paid what he expected. Lubrizol's severance package offers 2 weeks of regular pay for a minimum of 8 weeks, plus a healthcare supplement. But Torres says this isn't the case for Chemtool employees.
They started shortening our benefits, saying we were only going to get 8 weeks was the maximum. But if you look in the Lubrizol website, it's showing that 8 weeks is the minimum for severance pay and 52 weeks is the maximum.
Now employees will receive 1 week of regular pay for each year of service. He says the transition terms came in August when employees met with the company, and Torres feels taken advantage of.
So many companies that are hiring, they're looking at it as, okay, they'll get hired and, they'll just take whatever we want to give them. And we don't think it's fair.
Those employed 5 years or less, like Bethany Prignano, will receive 2 weeks' pay instead of the 8-week minimum.
They handed us a new transition benefits paper, and we were completely shocked. It was completely different. There was no talk that they were going to change it.
Recently promoted to shift lead, she feels the money isn't enough for her hard work.
It's nothing. It's insulting, honestly, for all the work that we've put into the building, into our work and our everyday. This is what we did.
Prignano and Torres say they want answers.
So we do 100% deserve that, especially since we lost our job at no fault of our own.
It's not something that it was our fault or Lubrizol's fault. We're just saying that we'd like to get reimbursed for what's owed to us.
That was Rachel Perry reporting. Lubrizol sent a statement to Eyewitness News saying, quote, given the near-term realities at the site, impacted employees will eventually need to move on and we will provide appropriate severance when the time comes. They did not respond to questions regarding the difference in severance terms from Chemtool employees. Rockford police are on scene of a shooting on Bruce Street. That's about a block north of Whitman Street. Investigators say 2 people have been shot. No word on their condition. Police tell us there is no danger to the public. They're asking residents to avoid the area for the investigation. We'll continue to keep you updated as the scene develops. Monday, we'll learn who will lead the Rockford Fire and Police Departments. City of Rockford Board of Fire and Police Commissioners meet tomorrow. They're expected to name their picks then. We'll let you know the decision tomorrow on Eyewitness News. A new scam to look out for. Consumer advocates warn that there are criminals who claim they can help you pay rent. This comes as the federal eviction moratorium ends October 3rd. To avoid being scammed, the Better Business Bureau says be wary of out-of-the-blue calls, emails, or text messages claiming to be from the government. Also, do not pay for a free government grant or program. The BBB says a real federal agency will not ask for an advance processing fee.
You need to double check that you are working with somebody who is actually working with the government. And the only way you can be certain of that is if you are the person who initiates the original contact.
Locally, the BBB says they haven't seen any scams like this yet, but they still want residents to be aware of the possibility. A landmark decision from the FDA is reportedly hours away, with full approval of the Pfizer vaccine expected. The Surgeon General hopeful more people will get the shot. ABC's Marcus Moore has more.
Tonight, as the nation battles against the surge of COVID cases and deaths, the New York Times is reporting the FDA may grant full approval to Pfizer's COVID vaccine as early as tomorrow. Currently, it's only authorized for emergency use.
The FDA certainly has been evaluating the application for full approval from Pfizer. I wouldn't be surprised if they issued that full approval soon.
The U.S.'s daily case average has now risen to 137,000 cases a day, up by approximately 230% in the last month, overwhelming hospitals.
It's chaotic. Don't get sick, because if you have a heart attack or if you have a stroke, you are out of luck.
In Edmond, Oklahoma, 11-year-old Cameron Rice, now home after fighting COVID in the ICU, telling his mother he wants to wear a mask at school, even though it's optional.
He goes, I think I agree, Mom. I need to wear a mask.
Here in Texas, many larger school districts are bucking Governor Greg Abbott's executive order banning mask requirements. And in Florida, officials are now threatening to withhold state funds if school districts in Miami-Dade continue to enforce masks. This as breakthrough cases continue. Civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson and his wife are hospitalized in Chicago for COVID. The couple's son saying doctors are currently monitoring the condition of both. A 79-year-old received his first dose of the Pfizer shot in January, 7 months ago.
That was Marcus Moore reporting. And as new cases of COVID-19 are surging across the U.S., health experts continue the push for everyone eligible to get vaccinated. Nearly 94% of people in the ICU with COVID in OSF healthcare facilities are unvaccinated. Despite this, millions of people are still hesitant to roll up their sleeves. A 33-year-old man was one of those people. He was aware of the recommendations but didn't take action. Mario Cruz Cortez says he wishes he could go back in time.
I will tell myself, get the vaccine. It doesn't matter, get your vaccine. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it as soon as I can, because COVID is real and I don't want to go through again, or I don't want any of my family members go through what I went through, because that was so scary.
Cruz Cortez is now recovering at home with his family. As the U.S. continues to evacuate American citizens and Afghan allies from the country, the president says the August 31st deadline could be extended. President Biden giving remarks at the White House in a rare Sunday address to give the latest on the situation overseas. Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer shares more as she's keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
We have a long way to go, and a lot could still go wrong.
In a rare Sunday address, President Joe Biden told Americans the August 31st deadline to withdraw all troops could be pushed back.
There's discussions going on among us and the military about extending. Our hope is we will not have to extend.
One extension that is happening is to the safe zone surrounding the Kabul airport, which could allow more Americans and Afghan allies to get through as thousands gather outside. That perimeter is a source of criticism from Republican lawmakers. Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger on CNN's State of the Union this morning.
Why are we sitting in the Kabul airport and in Afghanistan right now with such a lack of confidence that we're begging the Taliban to allow us to save our own citizens?
Secretary of State Antony Blinken telling CBS Face the Nation,
they are in control of Kabul. That is the reality.
The president said Sunday that the Taliban has not taken action against U.S. forces, but didn't shut down using sanctions against them.
The answer is yes. It depends on the conduct.
The president says nearly 8,000 people were flown out in the last 24 hours, and more flights will be added with the help of commercial airplanes to aid U.S. evacuation efforts. The president promised,
we're working hard and as fast as we can to get people out. That's our mission.
There are currently 9 days until troops are set to withdraw from the region. Reporting in Washington, I'm Kelly Meyer.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Things are pretty quiet for us this evening. A live look at the Marcel Skytrack camera up in Beloit, Wisconsin. We've got a mostly clear sky, and our skies will stay clear here through the majority of the night. But tomorrow morning could see a few showers and an isolated thunderstorm or two work in from the west from thunderstorms that'll develop over Iowa. Right now we have a few storms moving through Minnesota into Wisconsin. Some of those thunderstorms growing a little more in southeast Wisconsin, and a couple of showers and a few storms now back across parts of Nebraska in the Central Plains. We'll likely see a few thunderstorms develop in central and northeast Iowa after midnight tonight and then kind of move in our direction by tomorrow morning. And we can see that here on Futurecast. Those thunderstorms not expected to be severe and weakening as they move into a dry air mass. We've got a lot of dry air overhead, which is what made us mostly clear for today. So as these showers and a few embedded thunderstorms come through about 6, 7 o'clock, some of these will make it as far east as Rockford, maybe even Belvedere by tomorrow morning. But any stronger thunderstorm activity likely will be following higher instability just over to the southeast. So some of those thunderstorms will kind of work a little more to our southeast and bypass us here mid-morning. We'll see a little cloud cover and then should stay mostly dry into tomorrow afternoon. Not going to rule out maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two, but we actually see what we call height rising in the atmosphere. So that's just where you get that warmer air that comes in and really kind of puts a lid on things for our Monday. Depending on how quickly that cloud cover clears out, we will likely make it up near 90 degrees for tomorrow. Another thunderstorm complex possible early Tuesday, and then we'll have to watch a couple of thunderstorms as those move up to the north of us Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. Some of those could slide a little bit further to the south here during that time. But the pattern that we're getting in here for these next couple of days, more typical for these kind of overnight thunderstorm complexes. So we're getting into that time of year come July and August where we tend to see more of these overnight storm clusters come through. So this ridge of high pressure down to the south will push the jet stream kind of very close to us, if not just a little bit to the north of us during the next couple of days. Now, assuming that our afternoons stay mostly dry and we get rid of any cloud cover from any potential thunderstorms from the overnight, temperatures are going to warm near 90 for tomorrow afternoon, low 90s Tuesday, Wednesday. But with the dew point rising, especially on Tuesday and Wednesday, the heat index both of those days could climb into the triple digits. So some higher heat coming up here. Just be prepared for that. Things through the middle of the week could become quite uncomfortable. Temperatures for us right now at 69 in Rockford, 68 in Janesville. So we've seen that drop in the number. Same thing in Dixon. And 69 our current temperature in Monroe. We're down to 63 degrees for tonight, a mostly clear, fairly quiet evening. Winds will stay light, might see some ground fog develop, especially in the lower spots here through the overnight, just with that light southeasterly wind. Highs tomorrow back up near 90, but if we hang on to the cloud cover a little longer, might 88, 89 degrees, but still going to feel on the muggier side. Might not feel so much of that tomorrow morning, but by the afternoon and evening, you'll start to notice that change. And you know, it will be muggy just by looking at some of those overnight low temperatures too, as we're back up into the low 90s for Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night as well. There's a cold front that comes through on Thursday afternoon looking dry, and just an isolated chance on Friday. We'll watch Friday because we've got our first high school Friday night football games going on that evening, so we'll pay close attention to that forecast. But then temperatures will be back up near 90 once we get into next weekend.
Now the Napleton Sports Desk with David Greenberg.
Well, the Bears got beat by the Bills and a familiar face in Mitchell Trubisky, losing their preseason game 41-15 yesterday. And yes, I know it's the preseason, but the Bears, they have some very real problems. First and foremost, the questions are only getting bigger around this quarterback battle as Andy Dalton remains unimpressive and Fields continues to make plays with the backups. And secondly, the offensive line is a major issue. Throwing Justin Fields out there in the second half with the third team, that's just a recipe for disaster. What happened to Nagy saying he'd get more reps with the top guys? It's no secret the Bears fans want to see Fields, but when it comes to them openly cheering for him over Dalton, Fields stood up for his teammate.
I feel a sense to be there for my teammates when they need me. So as long as Andy's in the game, I'm going to be rooting for Andy. What the fans have to realize is we're on the same team, you know. So we're all trying to win games, and that's really our main focus. We're not worried about who has touchdowns, who's doing this and that. We're just out here trying to win.
The Packers played the Jets yesterday, and their first-round pick, Zach Wilson, impressed a fellow quarterback who happens to be pretty good himself. During the broadcast, Aaron Rodgers did an interview with the Packers announcers and gave his thoughts on this year's second overall pick.
He's a good young kid. You know, I really like his disposition, his mentality. He can throw the heck out of it. You know, he had a really nice throw where he kind of broke the pocket, broke contain, moving to his right, threw it way down the right sideline. That's the kind of stuff he's going to need to do.
Well, the second half of our two-a-days continue as we take a look at the North Boone Vikings, who have lots of new people within the program. The North Boone Vikings were the top team in the Big Northern Conference during last year's shortened season, but as they head into 2021, there's a fresh face in charge, first-year head coach Ryan Kelly.
It's a good feeling just to be back out here and have some normalcy, and you know, a lot of these kids I've coached and taught for many years, so you know, it's fun to be able to be out here with them.
Having those previous relationships made the transition a lot smoother, especially for offensive lineman, senior Bryce Nolan.
He's a good coach. I really like him. He's new with the guys and younger, so he understands what we understand. Everything was just easy for him.
Another new addition will be junior quarterback Chandler Alderman, who is replacing Logan Emanuel, who was a 2-year starter and first-team all-conference selection before graduating last spring.
Logan was a big part of our program because he was a quarterback for 2 years, but Chandler's got the arm. Chandler's got everything Logan had, but just we got to teach him some. Get the ball out, let's run it a little bit, throw the long ball, and see what we can do.
And when it comes to the long ball, there's nobody better than senior wideout Will Dutch. In 2020, Will averaged just over 26.5 yards per reception and caught 10 touchdowns in just 4 games. His younger brother Chris, who's a sophomore, will also be a vital piece to the offensive puzzle.
Oh, they're huge. Chris is our running back. He's going to hopefully draw him off Will and let Will run by everybody and catch it in the end zones.
And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's Kelly's philosophy as he embarks on his tenure as head coach. He plans to keep the same identity that has been built by coaches before him and has proved as a mark of success at North Boone.
You know, I think here at North Boone, people kind of know who we are and what we do, and I don't think we'll stray too far from that. Not too much different from what we've done here.
Tomorrow we continue our previews with Genoa Kingston at 9 and 10. The Sox are wrapping up a series in Tampa Bay, taking on the Rays, and Austin Meadows, the dish, just beats the shift as that gets down for a base hit. Runner comes in to score in the first, put the Rays on the board, and then in the 6th, with the bases loaded, Francisco Mejia drives one to right, bounces up against the wall, and clears the bags. The Sox lose big to the Rays, 9-0. Meanwhile, at Wrigley, the Cubs have suffered yet another sweep, losing to the Royals 9-1. They're now 3-17 in the month of August. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
Candace is back with one last look at our forecast, and the heat's going to pack a punch in the state line.
Yeah, see lots and lots of 90s up there.
I know, more than we probably like to have, right? You know, as we near the end of August, but unfortunately, we still got a little bit of summer left to go, although September 1st does begin meteorological fall. Usually never works out. Yeah, the temperatures cool off around that time, unfortunately. Things are going to cool off, though, for us tonight. We're in the low 60s, down around 63 degrees. Our skies will stay clear, at least in the short term, but by tomorrow morning, could have a couple of showers and a few thunderstorms, embedded thunderstorms, nothing severe to the west of us. Temperatures, though, by the afternoon back near 90, and then a few thunderstorms kind of through the overnight this week.
Thanks, Candace, and thanks for making us your home team. Have a great night.